Camera recording.
Today, let's talk about home security. So in my previous life, one of my things that I was tasked with, or that we had to do, was we had to do a security analysis or a threat analysis of certain buildings. Basically what that entails is you go and look at the security of those buildings. You act as if you're the bad guy, and how would you defeat that security, or how would you enter into that building or whatever, right? And then once we did that, we would put together a plan. We would have it all written out, and then we'd present it saying, hey, this is where I think you lack in security. You can do that, own the exact same thing with your own house. So, you can look at your house, whether you live in the country, whether you live in the city, whether you live, really even in an apartment. You can kind of look and see, what is my security plan? What do I have? What don't I have? If I was a bad guy, what would I do to break in here, right? So let's think about it. You're a bad guy, and you're going to case a house, and you, for whatever reason, you think that house has stuff in it that you want. What are some things that bad guys are going to look for? They're going to look for very specific things, i.e. garage doors being open in the middle of the night. It's pretty easy stuff to get, right? Car doors being open in the middle of the night. No cameras, no lights, things like that, easy pickings, right? So for you can make sure your garage door is closed. There's apps now that you can just close your garage door on an app on your phone right before you go to bed. You can make sure your cars are locked. You can make sure that you have ample lighting. Now you can go on Amazon and you can buy solar lights that automatically turn on when it gets dark. You can get like a 4-pack for, $30-40. They're not the best lights in the world, but what they're gonna do is they're gonna be a deterrent, right? And all this stuff we're gonna talk about is just for deterrency. There is not much you can do if somebody's actually really determined to break into your house and steal your stuff. There's not much you're gonna do to stop him, right? Aside from shooting him or having the cops already be there, there's not much you're gonna do, okay? So it's all a deterrent. Other things that people look for is easy access to your house. So if you have like a front door with like a glass right beside it, and you just break the glass and open your door. Do you have a back door that's easily accessible? Is there an alleyway behind your house that they can kind of hide in while they get to your house? And 1,000 other things, right? And if you look at the basic securities that you hear about for houses, what do they say? One, they want it well lit. Okay, it makes total sense, right? You want lights everywhere around your house. Now, do you want to be the asshole neighbor that has 10 security lights pointed at your neighbor's bedroom? Probably not, right? So you got to think it through a little bit. You don't want to be that guy. When I was a police officer, we had people actually call us and be like, hey, Bob's lights keep shining in my bedroom, do something. And it was not only a hassle for us, but a hassle for somebody else. And it took us away from doing our actual job. We had to go tell somebody to turn the lights off. Other things, people say put bushes, like thorny rose bushes or whatever, in front of your windows and easy access points, right? That's good and bad, okay? Good is, yes, it's a bush, it's a thorny rose bush, and people don't like getting into bushes, right? But concealment works both ways, okay? If I cannot see over that bush or around that bush, that means bad guys can hide there, and I won't be able to see them either. So we have to take that into account, right? Wooden fences. This house has a wooden fence all the way around it. I can't see through the wooden fence, which means I can't see if there's bad guys hiding over there. Now, this particular house has other houses' backyards attached to them. So if a bad guy wants to get in the backyard here, he's gonna have to hop a couple fences, which probably won't happen, but you can't count it out. There is, avenues of approach from both sides of the house, right? That you probably want a camera on. If you don't have a camera on it because you can't afford it, that's okay. You need at least a couple, 2-3 cameras just to kind of see the whole outside perimeter of your house. And you can use that for everything. Let's say you're inside cooking dinner and your kids are outside playing, and you can just monitor that and make sure no kids are getting hurt or doing their stuff they're not supposed to do, right? You don't have to use the security just to, protect yourself from bad guys. Back doors. What is your back door like? Usually there's two kinds of back doors. There's a sliding glass back door, and two, there's the door and half the door is glass, right? That's what you see a lot, especially on older houses. And the bad thing is somebody can break that glass out or just, take a knife and cut around the trim and then let the glass fall out. Unlock the door and walk in. Sliding glass doors, a lot of people like to put broomsticks at the bottom, right? Well, I don't know if you've ever looked, but that sliding glass door has a lot of play because when they put it in, they have to tilt it up and set it in. So it's got a lot of play in there. And a lot of times, they can take that sliding glass door and kind of prop it up and get it up over that broomstick. So something better to put in there would be like a 2x4. Set it on edge and put it the whole length, right? It doesn't have to be super, like we have to wedge it in there, but snug. They can't, pop it over that. Now, obviously, they can break the glass. We all know that. A lot of criminals are opportunistic. So unless you have like a bag of diamonds that's worth a couple $1,000,000, they're probably not going to go breaking all your windows and doors to get into your house to steal your TV they can buy at Walmart for $300. So, breaking glass in a neighborhood at night is really loud. So they probably won't do that. Now, obviously they could. So you can take little steps, like make sure your doors are locked, make sure the 2x4 wood is in there, things like that. Another thing is window coverings, right? So do you have window coverings to cover your whole house? Can anybody see in your house to see that, what kind of stuff you do have? Do you leave them open during the day to make sure your plants get some sunlight? They say that around Christmas time, criminals will go drive around nice neighborhoods and they'll look at the trash. They'll go out there on the morning of trash day and they'll look at their trash. Well, you have a big screen TV box in your trash. You have, gun box in your trash, things like that. And they'll look for that stuff and then they'll target your house based off of that. So a couple other things you can do if you do have a security system. Does the doorbell alert the person when they walk up? Does it let them know that, hey, I'm a camera and I'm recording you? That's a pretty good deterrent. Maybe not nowadays because everybody's wearing these stupid masks, but in the regular real world, it would be a pretty good deterrent because you can see that person's face. And if they're a common criminal, the police officers in the area are probably going to know who that dude is. Another thing is, do you have signs up that say, ADT or whatever? Now, that kind of goes back and forth depending on the criminal you ask. Some criminals say that, a lot of people put them signs up just to put them up and they don't really have a security system. And some of them don't pay attention to them, but some of them say, yeah, if we see that sign, we're more than likely going to skip that house and go to a house that doesn't have a sign. Again, easy pickings. Something else you can do is like, I have a dog. So you can put a sign on your gate or whatever, beware a dog. Again, it's just a deterrent. Some people leave like dog bowls out there and they leave big ones because they want everybody to think they have a big dog. Again, that's just a deterrent. And it's something that if somebody really wants inside your house, what are they going to do? They're gonna case the joint is what they call it, right? So they're gonna go and they're gonna do basically the same thing that you would do in the military. They're gonna gather intel. They're gonna watch your house for a few days, see what your patterns are. Do you go to work at the same time every day? Do you take the same route? Are you gone for the same amount of time every day? Do you lock your dog up in a kennel when you leave? All that kind of stuff. And so they're going to look at that because criminals aren't stupid. I mean, they watch the same YouTube videos that you do. So they're going to look and see how to do all that. So an easy way to kind of, if you think your house is getting cased or whatever, what you can do is you can just, break up the patterns, right? Leave at different times, leave your dog in, leave your dog out, take a day off of work in the middle of the week, kind of mess their OODA loop up to where maybe now they don't know what your patterns are. Maybe you don't have any set patterns and everything's different all the time. So now they don't know when they would break into your house. Little things like that can help you in just deterring somebody from wanting to break into your house. And that means they may go to your neighbor's house because your neighbor is easy pickings and you're not. Another great thing to have is like a neighborhood watch, right? If you live in a cul-de-sac like we do, then it's pretty easy if everybody kind of knows everybody. Like we have 1,000 kids living here, so all the kids play with each other. So you kind of look out for one another anyway, right? If you see somebody weird, you can be like, "Hey, Bob, I saw a weird car at your house yesterday. You know, what's up?" And oh yeah, my brother-in-law's in town. Or what are you talking about? What do you mean weird car? You know, and that's just looking out for your neighbor, and that's just being a good member of the community. You know, kids talk all the time, and you know, kids are. I tell my kids all the time, like, don't leave your bicycles out because it's just easy for somebody to grab a bike and roll out, right? So one thing as a cop that we get called all the time is people stealing bicycles because people leave them out. Again, it's just a deterrent, but if you leave your bicycle on the sidewalk or in your driveway, somebody can just drive up, grab your bike, throw it in the back of the truck, and then leave. If it's behind a fence, they're probably not going to take the time to get out of their vehicle, walk up, open a fence, see the bike, and then, you know, do all that stuff. They're probably not going to take the time to do that. Especially if you have cameras up and maybe you have a sign up that says, you know, smile, you're on camera, you know, whatever, stuff like that. Anything like that can be a good deterrent. When we talk about home security, everybody wants to always go right to the cool, sexy stuff, right? The coolest and sexiest stuff there is this. Now, this is just a training gun, it's just a laser gun, right? We use it for training. It's just a training aid. But what you can use this for is if you go around your house and you look at what's your farthest shot that you would ever take. In this particular setup here, the farthest shot that anybody would ever have to take would be from the couch to the front door. And that's roughly about 25 feet. Now, so if you have a training gun and you can, you know, point and shoot, and you can sit here and you can point and shoot and you can train, you know, point at a light switch, point at a doorknob, something like that. And you can train, you get repetitive, and you can get good at it. Then there's not much difference between doing this and essentially dry firing all the time than to actually pulling the trigger and having a live round in there. Now, the other question is, if you look at the fundamentals of firearms, right, the fundamentals of shooting, well, what's in your background? Well, in this case, the background is 2 other neighbor houses right across the street. Little kids playing in the road constantly. Kids playing basketball, riding their bikes, all that. So if you're sitting here at, you know, noon on a Tuesday because you have the day off and somebody breaks into your house, are you really apt to just pick up your gun and start shooting? Is that what you're really gonna do? Because this can go through that door very easily. And if you miss, which you might, let's be honest, right? Not everybody's perfect, you might miss. There's a good chance that somebody kicks in your door. First of all, you don't know what's going on. Second of all, you're probably gonna be scared shitless unless you've trained this over and over and over again. And not all of us have. So are you just gonna grab your firearm? Well, let's even talk about that. Where is your firearm? I mean, do you carry concealed on you even at your house? Do you have a bunch of little hidden spots that you have all around your house? Because what if you're taking a dump? Do you have a toilet gun, a shower gun? Do you have a kitchen cooking gun? Do you have a Sunday I'm watching football gun? So all this stuff plays a huge part. For some reason, we like to think that it's gonna happen at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna be in bed asleep. I'm gonna hear some crazy noise. I'm automatically gonna be alert, awake, and know exactly what to do. I'm gonna don my kit. I'm gonna pick up all my cool guy guns, right? With all the cool guy accoutrements, the lasers and the lights and all that cool stuff. And I'm gonna go downstairs like I'm fucking Rambo, and I'm gonna smoke everybody. That's not gonna happen. Definitely not gonna happen. There was a case in Florida a couple years ago where somebody heard a noise. Dad really was who it was. He heard a noise. He donned his stuff. Oh man, look what I'm gonna do. And he went downstairs and he saw somebody coming in the window. What did he do? He went like that. Who was it? It was his daughter. She was late. She went to a party. She didn't want to knock on the front door because she thought she was going to get in trouble. And then dad ended up shooting her. So not only do we have the effect of where is your gun, what time is it, all that stuff, do you have positive idea of your target? Do your laws in your state even allow you to shoot somebody? You know, there's a whole bunch that goes into home security and home defense, and it's not just owning one of these, okay? It's not just owning a gun and thinking you're cool and saying, well, if you break into my house, I'm gonna shoot you. One, you've probably never shot anybody in your life. Number two, you've probably never even trained in your life. And number three, you're probably gonna be scared shitless. Because if it is 3 o'clock in the morning, and I don't know how many of you guys sleep with no undies on, but I like to sleep in the buff. So no undies on, 3 o'clock in the morning, all of a sudden I hear a noise. I gotta wipe the damn sleep out of my eyes and see what the hell's going on first. I'm not just gonna jump up, grab a gun, and go charging downstairs. That's just stupid. You never do that. You never do that on any combat mission or anything, right? If you hear something crazy over there, what are you gonna do? You're gonna stop. You're gonna take what they call a pregnant pause. You're gonna gather all the intel you can, and then you're gonna make an assessment. You're gonna make a plan, and you're gonna go and execute it. Same thing goes with this. One thing that people have that they don't really take into consideration is this one over here, Freya, come here. Okay, so if somebody does come, do a little bump in the night, that's the first thing that's gonna wake up. She's gonna be the first one. And in the middle of the night, how many times your dog start barking? Because they heard something, right? So there's your first clue, there's your first alert. Then what are you gonna do, right? Do you have kids? How big are the kids? Do they know what to do? Do you have a plan in place of, hey, I heard bump in the night. If I say a code word or if I go to your room or whatever, you need to do this, this, and this. Do you have any plan like that? Do your kids know you have a plan? Have you thought about it in your head, but you just haven't told them because you don't want to sound like an idiot? All that stuff goes into play, right? I know that where my kids' rooms are, where my bedroom is, and the layout of the house, I know exactly where I can and can't shoot in order to not hit my children, and in order to not hit the neighbors, and in order to have a backstop. All that's very important. I can tell you one time I got woken up in the middle of the night. We were living on the side of a mountain, and I got told there's a bear in the house by my wife. I was like, yeah, whatever. I went out in the kitchen living room area, and no shit, there stood like a 6 foot tall black bear. Scared the shit out of me, scared the shit out of the bear. Everybody was scared shitless. The bear ran out, right? Broke some glass as he went out, so we cleaned up the glass, went back to sleep. No shit, about an hour later, I get woken up again. Hey, I just heard something. This time, I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm not gonna let this son of a bitch get away. So all I had was on my nightstand was a 357 stub nose. I went out there, butt ass naked, and in our house that we lived in, came out of the bathroom, you went into the living room, then the kitchen, and then there was like a little dining room, sunroom, breakfast nook area. And I chased this bear, and that's where the back door was. I chased this bear to the back door. We had a wraparound porch, and he was running on the porch, and I pointed my 357 stub nose at the bear, and I said, oh shit, my cars are over there, I can't shoot. And I followed him as he was running in front of all the windows in the breakfast nook, and I shot him every time he went by a window. Every time he went in front of the window, I just shot, bam, bam, bam. And then I proceeded to chase him outside. I ran down the porch, I jumped in the grass, and as soon as my feet touched the grass, something in my mind said, stop. And I stopped, and I took a pregnant pause, and I went, how fucking dumb am I right now? Here I am, it's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, right? This bear's broken into my house twice. I just fucking shot the dude. He's probably pretty pissed off. I am butt-ass naked in the middle of nowhere, 25 miles to a main road. Literally in the middle of nowhere, I have 1 round left. And I was gonna chase this dude in the woods like a retard. when I did that, I stopped and I thought, like, God damn, I am pretty stupid. So I went back inside, cleaned up all the mess. The wife was super pissed off. A, because I broke the windows. B, because there was like a drill in the way when I was shooting, and I didn't even see the drill because I was looking at the bear. Bam! And when I came across, I shot it. It went through the drill and the chair and the window, and then hit the bear. And then two, because I actually shot something inside the house. She was super pissed off about that because my son at the time was about 18 months old. Dude didn't even wake up. But I mean, and I told her, like, I told you, like, if somebody's gonna break in the house, like, what did you expect? And that was kind of my first instinct. But ended up fighting. No shit. It was right before winter that the bear did this. So right after winter, I was kind of cleaning up the area around the house, and this was in springtime, and about 100 feet, like about 100 feet away from the house, and this little clump of bushes, I find a dead bear. No shit, and it was a dead bear. I still have his skull to this day. So, 357 stub nose can kill a bear. Who would have thunk it?